a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. There's a walk back. I believe. The Giants from the pennant. 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 Bobby Thompson hits into the line back. I'm going to see him win. The Giants from the pennant. And they're going crazy.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
You know, friends, so many people have wished me congratulations on a 67-year career in baseball, and they've wished me a wonderful retirement with my family. And now, all I can do is tell you what I wish for you. May God give you for every storm a rainbow, for every tear a smile, for every care a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life seems a faithful friend to share, for every sigh a sweet song, and an answer for each prayer. You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say. But you know what? There will be a new day and eventually a new year. And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.
All right, welcome to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am Michael Merlo. I'm joined by Matt Leonard today, and last night we learned the very sad news of the passing of Vin Scully, the greatest broadcaster of all time. If you listen to our intros, many of them have the most amazing calls ever done by Vin Scully, not just baseball but football, and pulled that clip up before. That was his final broadcast doing Dodger games in 2016, October 2nd, and that was 80 years to the day in which he was a 10-year-old boy where he was watching the Giants World Series game, and the day he says he fell in love with baseball. So we got that news last night. Very, very sad. Tons to get to, but we are going to start off with Vin Scully today. Matt, first, how are you doing, though?
I'm doing well. I mean, the Vin Scully thing, I can't say, it was a shock, because he's up there in age, obviously, and things happen, but it hit me last night. I got the news around to everybody about 11:30 p.m. last night, almost 12 o'clock. And this one got me. I mean, Bill Russell passed earlier this week. Vin Scully passed now last night. They said they go in threes. I'm hoping this is the end, but for this wave, whatever you want to call it. But the Vin Scully news hit me. I mean, that was. I posted something by last night that he was the voice of so many generations of baseball fans.
He was the voice of baseball. I mean, you can't tell the story of baseball without talking about Vin Scully, who has done every big game, whether it's an All-Star game or I think 25 World Series.
He's called 3 perfect games.
3 perfect games, and just how many perfect games have there been? 20-something perfect games?
Yeah, so he's like, less than over 10% of the perfect games he was on the call for.
I was trying to come up with a clip to play, after we played our intro, and our station manager, Sean, said, well, find, a call. And I said, so I'm looking through, and, we always play the Kirk Gibson one. That was in our intro for a very long time. And, obviously, the Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, is it's a fantastic call. But we always play it. We played it just now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not a call. Like, the thing that we're going to play, the clip that we'll play for Vin Scully is not going to be a call. It's going to be a story. It's going to be him talking. And as I'm going through, a couple hours before the show started, what I was going to play, what we were going to play today, it had to be a story. And the things that I were just listening to, and I've obviously heard him speak, but he is the greatest speaker I've ever heard. The way he is able to use words, it's almost like he's speaking in poetry. It's like poetry is a language, and that is his language. He is so great with words, the greatest storyteller of all time, and it is just very sad.
That's a perfect way to put it. His stories and the speaking in poetry thing exactly captures what he did in the broadcast booth, and just anytime he spoke in front of a microphone, really.
Yeah. There's even a video of him in 2017 of July when he got, I'm for blanking on the award. Was that
his last year?
No, it was the summer after.
Okay.
And he got an award at the ESPYs. I think it was the Icon Award.
It's a Lifetime Achievement, something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So he gets this award, and he goes up on this stage, and, at the time, he's a, 89, 90-year-old guy, right?
Wow.
And the ESPYs, ESPN, I don't want to make this a baseball is dying sport, a conversation, but, you go to the ESPYs, and baseball may be, the third sport you think about when you think about ESPN and the ESPYs and things like that. And this old guy, gets onto the stage in front of all these athletes and on TV where there may be some people that don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I find that ridiculous, but you're absolutely right. There's got to be people that don't know, and that are big sports fans, too.
And he gets up on stage, and whether you knew him or not, or knew how great, maybe you knew him, just didn't realize how great he was, 2 minutes, not even, of him speaking, you knew this man is special. Like, this guy, just forget he's getting an award. You can just listen to him and say, yeah, that guy's a special guy.
The funny thing is, we talked about people that don't know who he is. Like, I was talking to my mom about this, and she is not at all a big baseball fan, not a big sports fan, doesn't really follow anything like we do. But I played a Vin Scully clip, and she goes, "Oh, of course I know that voice. I know that guy." And I'm like, yeah, everyone does. If you lived in this country in the last 60 to 70 years, you've heard Vin Scully at some point.
You better know that voice. And it's funny because everybody obviously, talking about stories of his life, and there's a couple of things. Number one, I've heard this a lot now. Now I've heard this before, but even now I'm hearing this a lot. So Vin Scully would just tell a story whenever, and if you hear broadcasters, if you listen to a lot of baseball games, these guys, they try and tell stories in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
and it's not easy. And we did baseball play-by-play for our college radio station. It is difficult. To talk about what you want to talk about during a game because the game moves, fast.
You think you have so much time in baseball, you really don't. When you're doing play-by-play, you think, I have time between at-bats, or, the pitcher's going to take a long time. No. You got to be on it. There's not much time, and he just did it seamlessly.
He did it every time, and it almost felt like, and it did feel like this, and this is what, I was listening to Tim Kirchin say this morning, but the baseball gods would always let him get a story in. That if he was to start a story, nothing was going to interrupt it. A home run or, a pass ball or something like that. It would just be, a ground ball to short. And he would be able to just continue that story. Telling the story and then go up, grounded to short, throws to first in time. Go right back seamlessly. There we go. Seamlessly into that story. And it's just really crazy how that happened. If you go back and listen to clips, Tim Kirchin was 100% right. The baseball gods let it happen every single time.
Back when MLB Network wasn't, what it is now. I don't think they're bad now, but they used to be a lot better in my opinion. But back when they had different crews and stuff, they would always, do MLB Tonight, where they would do live look into the games, or they would have regional coverage of like national games that you don't get to see here. Obviously, it's not a blackout. You get to see other out-of-market games. Anytime the Dodgers were on MLB Network and Vin Scully was on the call, I would turn the game on. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I want to hear that guy. I knew he wasn't going to be doing it too much longer when I started watching him. So I wanted to get every single word of his I could.
You had to. And you could always go back, obviously, and listen on YouTube because It's if you're learning, if you want to do this,
absolutely.
Do sports broadcasting, if you want to call games, that's somebody to listen to right there. That's who you want to learn.
That's the GOAT.
From.
That's the guy.
I mean, there's no if there's a list of great, and I read this from Michael K. this morning. We argue everything, right? We can't agree on anything, right? Nobody can agree on anything.
In sports, no.
In life,
we won't get into that, but yes.
Nobody agrees on anything.
No.
But everybody can agree that, number one, Vin Scully is the greatest sports broadcaster of all time. That's number one. And
who else you put even close to him? Like Al Michaels, maybe?
I don't even know. There's nobody on his level. And
exactly.
You can't even try and emulate him. You can't even try and be like him. There's just only one of him, and thank God there is. But the other thing is that you've never, ever heard a bad thing about this man. You've never heard somebody say, oh, he didn't give me the time of day. Oh, he was too big for me. Everybody that ever has met this guy and talked about this guy always said amazing things about him.
And that's incredible. And in the day and age we live in, where everyone's looking for something on somebody, nobody can find anything on this guy. You're right.
Can't find
There's nothing. It seemed like there was nothing wrong with Vin Scully. And, obviously we don't know, but I assume that's true because you said he's a special guy. Nobody ever had a problem with this man, and he was on the earth for 94 years.
He can make the most boring story sound amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
And interesting. And the other thing, he before we move on to, real, sports that are going on right now, including the Mets who are playing right now and the Yankees who just lost. The one thing is that he did this for 67 years.
Yeah.
67 years. And yet every single time, including the last time he signed off, he always left people wanting more. And that right there should just tell you the legacy and how great he was. That he was relevant from the day he picked up a microphone until the day that he stopped doing it, because he was so great at it for 67 years straight that he had to do every big game. And I remember us asking for Major League Baseball in his final season, let him do the World Series, let him do the All-Star game, please just put him on the national stage again. And they didn't do that, unfortunately, but he deserved it, and he's the greatest of all time, and that's where we'll end it off with Vin.
We always talk about, last thing I'll say is we always talk about the Mets booth being the best in baseball, and they are. They're amazing. I love Gary Cohen, I love Keith Nance, I love Ron Darling. They don't scratch the surface of Vin Scully for me.
Nobody does. And again, I love Gary.
They're amazing. They're pros, but they're not Vin Scully.
Nobody will ever be Vin Scully, and that's where we'll leave it off there. We are going to get into the Yankees here, though. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got Matt Leonard right next to me. 516-572-7440 is the number to join. You want to talk about Vin Scully? You got any stories, please call up. We're going to get into the Mets in a little bit. The trade deadline. I know yesterday as we were signing off, we were hoping in the last hour the Mets would do a little more. They did one thing, and I think it was I think a lot of Met fans universally are very upset. We're gonna get to that
please,
in a little bit.
At some point, please.
I promise. I think a lot of Met fans are a little bit overreacting, but we will see. We are going to start with the Yankees, though. Not only did they make a very surprising trade yesterday, before the 6 p.m. deadline, when everybody thought for the most part that they were done, but they lost 2 games. So last night they lose a close one. And the Yankee season has been so freaking magical that I thought bases loaded, 2 outs, down 2, they're going to win this game. But honest to God, they deserve that reputation with how good they've been and their ability to come back in games. So not that I'm saying, oh my God, of course they're going to win. I'm saying they should win this game. I expect them to win this game because that's been their MO this season, and they didn't. Glaber made the final out, and the Yankees lose.
He didn't get traded. That's, I guess, good news for Yankee fans. I don't know how you want to interpret that, but he didn't get traded. That didn't happen.
He didn't get traded, and the Yankees did make a trade, and they did trade Jordan Montgomery to the St. Louis Cardinals for Harrison Bader, a center fielder who's currently on the injured list, and he's not coming off anytime soon, which in a second we'll get to that. But there was a trade that the Yankees were trying to make, And I don't know if Gleyber Torres was involved in this trade or not.
If I think I know what you're talking about, the Marlins potential trade.
The Yankees were close to moving pieces to the Marlins for Pablo Lopez.
Oh, Gleyber would have had to have been in that deal.
Right.
Unless they're giving up Dominguez or something.
I had read that it's just for prospects, but Jack Curry had reported that the Yankees are talking about moving Gleyber. So, interesting to say the least, but the Yankees moved Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader. And I got to tell you something. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I absolutely hate the move. But
really? I'm opposite of you completely.
All right, we'll talk about that in a second. They do lose today, though.
Yes.
And Garrett Cole with a 6th spot in the first. Credit to him for being able to bounce back and give them some innings. Give them 4 innings or
That's
so
what the good
after
ones
that.
do.
Right. But, you can't. He gave up 4 runs before there was even an out in the game.
I saw a stat that said Garrett Cole's given up 7 runs in the first inning this year. 6 of them were today.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Wait, that's got to be wrong.
Apparently that's what Yes put on the graphic today.
No, because remember the
Boston game?
The Boston game.
I guess that's wrong. I guess you're probably right then, yeah.
I remember that first inning against Boston.
Was it earned runs?
I don't remember.
Could it be? I don't know.
Could have been. I don't know. I remember that Devers and Bogarts.
Oh, yeah, Devers killed him in that game.
Took him deep in the first game of the season. I remember I was driving in the middle of the Washington, D.C. area watching the game. Anyway, what may or may not have been celebrating. Anyway. They lose today. Luis Castillo comes from New York again and pitches very well. This is his second time in 3 weeks. He was obviously a top trade target for the New York Yankees. They go at Montas. And by the way, I didn't get to share my opinion on Montas. We didn't really touch on it yesterday. I absolutely love the move. I think that they get an A+ for that trade because Montas is a legit frontline starter. You get a reliever, which they need help in the bullpen. So I like the trade.
Even giving up Waldichuk, you're okay with that for Montas?
Oh, yeah. Because you need to make a move to put yourself in position to win a World Series this season. And Waldichuk does not help you this season. And the Yankees window, like the Mets, is closing. So I do like the trade. I love the trade, actually. But I don't like what they did, now completely gutting their starting pitching depth.
Yeah.
The one thing, and I'll use the Mets as an example, the one thing that was so great about the New York Mets, we have a caller on the line, we're going to get to you in a minute. We have 2 callers on the line, actually.
No, I wouldn't. Don't do that.
Oh, hung up the first one. First caller, please call back. The one thing that the Mets had that not many teams had was great starting pitching depth. Now, I'm
do you want me to help you with the phone?
Do the phone. Okay. Do the phone. So, the one thing that the Mets had was great starting pitching and great starting pitching depth. The Yankees have had pretty good starting pitching, and they've dealt with injuries now, and also guys not stepping up and pitching well. And now they may have a little bit of an issue with starting pitching. So we're going to see what happens. We are going to get to this call, and we're going to talk more about what they did with the trades yesterday with Montgomery and Bader. But we do have a caller on the line. Caller, you are on WHPC Sports Talk.
Hello, the Mets don't do anything.
Ross, we're not talking about the Mets right now. I don't want to talk about the Mets right now. I want to talk about the Yankees first, and then we're going to talk about the Mets.
That was my trick question. They suck. They didn't do anything.
You owe Ross some Kit Kats, Mike.
I do. Wait, what? Do I owe Ross?
You owe Ross Kit Kats because they didn't make the 2 bullpen moves. You owe Ross Kit Kats.
They only made 1, and he's not here today. So there we go.
Oh yeah.
So, listen. I was saving the Mets for later.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get to the Mets. What's your Met point?
My point is they didn't go all out, like I said.
Agreed. They didn't. They did not go all out. They did not go all out. They made moves to help their team, to fix their team. I think the one thing that they didn't do, which made me mad, the one thing, because I agree to an extent with not going to get Contreras and not going to get Martinez because nobody else got him. It's not like they were moved. It's not like the Robertson where David Robertson was moved to another team and just
that was embarrassing.
And it just so happened to be in your division. The thing is, nobody moved for Contreras. Nobody moved for JD Martinez because the Mets weren't wrong about them. Their price was too high, and the rest of the league saw that. So it's almost an embarrassment on those 2 teams that were looking to sell off these 2 rental pieces and were not able to do so. So I'm not on them for that. The thing I'll get on them for, and you'll agree with me, Ross, is the fact that they needed a left-handed relief pitcher. Andrew Chafin was the guy I wanted.
He didn't get traded.
Andrew Chafin was not traded, and Andrew Chafin should have been a guy that was on your team in March.
That's true.
So that's my problem. That's my biggest problem. I would have been fine. They get Givens, they get Chafin. I'm good. With Ruff and the other guys they added, you fix the bench. You take a Braves-like approach. I read an article in the New York Post today from Joel Sherman. The Mets did offensively what the Braves did last year at the trade deadline. They added more guys to fix the problem instead of just adding one. And I don't hate it. I don't hate the moves. But the problem for me was the bullpen.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They should have done more in the offseason. They didn't do enough. And I'll let you guys get back to it, but this is my final concern. I think Sandy Alderson's getting in the way.
I don't know. I don't know if Alderson's in the way. I'm not in the front office. I will say this. I do know that the Mets and Cohen have hired a lot of people from Cohen's .72 ventures.
Yes.
Like, that's something that is known. So I don't know who's calling the shots. I know those people are hired in analytical roles, and they wanted to work for the Mets, but maybe we'll find out soon. I think Epler's really a stickler on these prospects. I don't think he wanted to give them up, and we'll see what happens. He better be right, and I expect Vientos to be up. But thank you for the call, Ross. And the other caller, I think we lost him. Please call back.
Hey.
Here we go. Here's the other caller. Caller, you're on WHPC Sports Talk. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Dave from Massapequa.
What's up, Dave?
What's going on, guys? Mike, I know you're a big Mets fan, but after yesterday's trade deadline, you got to be a little disappointed.
Again, and I'll say it again, the one thing I'm disappointed about is that they didn't go get another relief pitcher, which was a massive need, a left-handed guy, because you can't trust Joely Rodriguez. If Contreras was traded, if J.D. Martinez was traded, and the price was lower than we thought, and it wasn't for one of the Mets' top prospects, I'd say, okay, I'm mad. But they weren't traded, and it just shows that the price wasn't where the Mets needed it to be with a farm system that's not great. And let me say this. I understand that the Mets need to go all out for this season right now. I get that point. But don't you think they've already done that? Like, they've done so much to this point. They're 65-38.
Yep.
They've been playing great baseball of late. They just got the best pitcher in the world back. So, yes, the bullpen was a massive need.
So why not say, you know what? We're going to outdo everybody by even more now. The Dodgers are never happy. They always want that. Give me those two extra guys to try to stick it to somebody. Scherzer's 38, like we said. He ain't pitching for that much longer. deGrom, he's opting out after this year. He looked great last night. So why not say, you know what? All right, I'll lose a prospect, but I'm winning the championship this year with this team.
Right, and I think I believe they have the team to do that, and they're not going to risk future assets to go get a guy for half a season this year when the reward... Listen, we've seen teams move big-time prospects for big-time players in the middle of the season, and that team not win a championship. And I understand that you should take risks, and the Mets could have gone for it and gave whatever the Cubs wanted for Contreras. But at the end of the day, you have to sustain organizational success, and the Mets are doing that by keeping some of their top guys to potentially go after a Shohei Ohtani in the offseason. Or other guys like that. I'm not just using Ohtani as an example. There could be other guys. Mets get out of the first inning here with a nice double play.
Don't say that yet. Okay, now they're out.
So yes, I get it. And these guys are also going to come up from the farm system. I think Vientos is going to be up at some point. I think Alvarez is going to be up. But I get it. I understand why Met fans are upset because they expected so much.
Everyone with prospects, even the Yankees, all these prospects. If you look at the '98 Yankees team, Scott Brocious was a trade from the Oakland A's. That was unbelievable. Paul O'Neill was a trade. Everyone wants to say, the core four. That was it on that team. Everybody else was trades, this, and that.
And let me ask you something. How do you acquire those great players? You need to be able to trade. You need to be able to trade for great players. There was no great players to
Scott
trade
Brocious wasn't a great. Scott Brocious from the A's wasn't a great player. He was a good player, and they said, all right, we'll be better with him So screw it. Let's give away a prospect.
Listen, I'm not for prospect hoarding. I hate prospect hoarding. I think there are a couple of guys you keep, and that's it.
Unless you have like a Francisco Alvarez, you don't do
draft
that.
Picks, the gold, and all that other stuff, yes, absolutely. Baseball, how many prospects? I'm just saying. Even with the Nationals, they got such a package back. They already had the package. They had all these guys. They lost them all. They lost Harper. They lost Soto.
They had the guy. They had their younger
So
star.
now they're trying to go back to what they did have when you already had it.
And the chance of those guys becoming stars are, slim.
I'm just saying, you guys
never
couldn't
know,
get a Brent
yeah.
Murray from San Diego. Well, now he's on San Diego, but you guys couldn't get him.
Well, the thing is, again,
That was a high price tag.
I know it almost sounds like, we're almost contradicting ourselves, but that was a high price tag that for the Mets was not going to be worth it.
For the Phillies, or wherever he went? Are you kidding me?
That one annoys me.
No, that one gets me. That's the one all day that got me. Because, again, you could make the argument that they added enough offense with Naquin and Vogelback and Ruff that they kind of fixed their issues offensively. You can make that argument. But their bullpen...
You want to say that, this guy Ruff crushes lefties? How many starting pitchers are lefties?
Well, the Mets have had issues hitting lefties. And
I get that. The Braves rotation has who? Fried?
Yeah, it's big.
I'm just saying, though.
He's the best one there.
One pitcher on that team. Of all these teams they're going to play.
Clayton Kershaw potentially down the line.
You're going to bring in lefties, in the bullpen to go face Vogelback. Bang! You got a right-handed hitter on the bench that can hit lefties. You need bench pieces. You need guys like this off the bench.
Yes, but okay. So now you're talking prospects. So you're going to give away 2 prospects for him?
That's another issue. That's another thing I have an issue with, because I do believe that those 2 pitchers that they gave up, they were younger guys, but according to people that have followed the Mets system, they were potentially guys that could have gotten into the Mets top even 15 prospects the next year or 2.
Wow.
So I don't know. There's something that I've been reading, been seeing, and our co-host the other day said it. There's a accusation out there that teams don't want to trade with the Mets, that they don't like Cohen, and the Mets price tag is slightly higher than everybody else. I don't know if that's true. I don't want to make excuses, but when I saw the return, we were giving up, for Ruff, I was surprised. I thought it would be Davis and a lower level prospect, and that's it.
And I'm not biased either. Look, the Yankees, Cashman, he made a big mistake at that end of the day yesterday. You trade away Montgomery for this guy that he's a good defensive player. No, you know what really happened? And no one ever wants to admit a mistake. They tried getting Rondon, or they tried getting the guy from the Marlins.
They tried getting Lopez.
And they tried lowballing, and they lost. They lost big time because he lost a starting pitcher on top of it.
They tried to get Lopez, and thank you for the call, Dave. They tried to get Lopez. They thought they had Lopez, and they didn't have him. And back to the Yankees here for a second before we do get back to the Mets, although we basically covered the Mets. I always want to try and talk Yankees because I'm a Mets fan. And
we talk Mets a lot.
And I can tell you everything about the Mets. Everything. Yeah. And it's almost like, it's a challenge. I watched a lot of the Yankee game last night after the Met game was out of reach. Mm-hmm. And, I watched a lot of the Yankee game today, while the Mets weren't on. I want to talk Yankees.
All right.
Everybody wants to call in and talk about the Mets with me. But anyway.
And then they like to bother you. I think that's the issue.
A lot of people do like to bother me. Back to the Yankees quick, in this trade. I don't know. I don't think this is the case, because if this is, then this is a really bad mark on Brian Cashman.
That's a fireable offense if that's really what happened.
Because if Cashman thought he had this deal locked up with the Marlins and then went and pulled the trigger before he actually had Lopez and traded Montgomery, then that's bad. I'm not accusing him of that. I don't think that happened. I think Cashman's a very smart guy. I think he's a great GM. I don't think that happened. But if it did, that's a problem.
So you don't like the Bader move then, trading Montgomery away?
I really don't like it.
I like it. I'm not super in love with it, but I do like it.
Why do you like it? And before I argue, I'll say this. I like Bader. I think he's a really solid player, but why do you really like it?
When healthy, he's arguably the best defensive center fielder in baseball, arguably. And he adds something the Yankees need, and Anthony said it yesterday, speed. They need speed.
Okay.
He's one of the fastest players in the game when he's on the field.
Right. Agreed. Now, part of the problem for me is, number one, I don't he's not coming back in August. He's
probably got him for the postseason. They're probably preparing for the stretch run.
Right. He's a guy that he's coming back from plantar fasciitis, which I have, and it's painful.
Oh, it sucks, yeah.
He has plantar fasciitis, and he's not coming back for a month or so. I think several weeks, they said, until he's going to really start ramping things up. So this is a guy that's hurt. He's not helping you right now. And it kind of made sense at the time. You're like, all right, well, Bader comes and he's another outfielder while Stanton's hurt, for the next 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, but then he can't play.
But that's not even the case. Bader's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So, for me, you got rid of an asset, which you had when you added Montas, which was, you had some starting pitching depth. You had guys there. And now I can't tell you who's their 5 right now.
Let me think. Let's go through it. Cole, Montas, Nestor, Tyone. That's a good question.
Don't know who the 5 is.
That's a great question.
And by the way, Tyone sucks.
Now, yeah.
He's terrible. So you have a 4-starter right now.
Oh, I forgot Sevy's on the 60-day.
That is not good.
Oh, no.
Severino, and I heard Boone speak last night. They expect, they don't think, they're not guaranteeing it, but they said they expect him. They hope he's back by September.
Severino.
You
hope so.
This is a guy that's been hurt a lot the past few years. This is a guy that has looked good, has had flashes this season, but also has blown up a couple of starts, which is going to happen for a guy that's coming off big injuries.
When he's on, though, he's on.
When he's on,
he shows it.
But I also remember reading a couple of days ago that there was a chance they wanted to bring him out of the bullpen, possibly, if they had enough starters.
They did that in the postseason a few years ago. It worked.
But right now, they can't do that. They have to build him back up as a starter because they don't have enough starters.
What I'm thinking is the Yankees, the Bader move is them prepping for the postseason. They know they're going to make it one way or another. They're going to win the division 9 times out of 10 this year.
They're going to win the division's done.
Division's wrapped up, right? Yeah.
The division's over.
Well, the 1 seed is a question because the Astros got better and they're getting hot. But as far as the postseason goes, I think this is the postseason roster preparing move. They want speed and they want defense in the postseason, but it's helpful. It's very helpful.
It is, but now, I don't want to sit here and play, the lineup game. But you've created yet
He's
another...
not going to start, I don't think.
You've had another logjam. Then why are we trading a 5th starter right now for the stretch run, which is important, even though your division's locked up? Why are we trading a guy that's going to be your 4th or 5th starter right now?
The only thing I can think of is maybe they will start him in center if they want Judge to get less reps out there and keep his health up.
That's the thing.
The only thing.
But now you have another logjam. Where does, because they play Hicks.
Gallo's gone.
Gallo's gone. Is Hicks done? Does Hicks become Gallo or Hicks is on the bench? Hicks
Probably.
is not playing. What happens to Carpenter? Who, by the way, I couldn't have been more right about that. The fact that the second you started playing him a little more, you were going to see pitchers start to figure him out, and his bat was going to cool down. They should have kept him in the role that he was in, although injuries have kind of
Stanton going down.
Right, they have to play him a little more, which is whatever. But his bat has cooled down. He's terrible in right field.
He never played in his career before this, right?
He's terrible.
He's an infielder by trade. I don't get what that experiment's about.
Right.
It's like playing J.D. Davis in left.
Stanton's hurt right now, but Stanton comes back. He's in left.
Yep.
Judge was playing center. He was doing a good job.
But you worry about his health out there.
But you worry about the health. But honest to God, he's playing so well, and their defensive run saved has been unbelievable this season. So it's not like a Yankees team that is, so great offensively, and their pitching's been great, but their defense is terrible. Everything's gone right. Their defense they're one of the top defensive teams in baseball. So
If they were like the Phillies level of defense, I would understand the move a little more.
100%. And the Phillies,
I think the speed is the big factor.
The Phillies made that same move yesterday. They essentially made the same move for a guy with the same OPS, good defensively, fast, give up a high-level prospect to go get him in Brandon Marsh. The Phillies did that yesterday. But for the Phillies, that makes sense because they can't catch a fly ball with their eyes open in center field. But the Yankees, who have been great out there, all around the diamond, didn't make too much sense. 516-572-7440 is the number to join. All right.
Harrison Bader with less hair is going to be weird. Really weird.
Well, does he have to shave? He has to shave fully.
He has to cut the hair. The Yankees can't have long hair either.
I don't
agree with it, but it's just their thing. Whatever.
I don't agree with it either, and I usually don't get mad about it.
He has some of the best hair in baseball, and this is going to be upsetting to watch.
Yeah, it's going to look weird. It just looks weird.
I almost want them to get Syndergaard just so I can see him with no hair.
Oh, please, hold on one second with Syndergaard. Your WHPC weather forecast powered by Pantano's Gourmet in Hewlett, Uniondale, and Garden City Park. Right now it is 91 degrees outside the WHPC studios. There's a heat advisory. Feels like 92.
That's disgusting.
Later tonight will be around 72. Hopefully it cools off. It has been disgustingly hot.
Oh, yeah.
The last 2 days since I've been back. The Jersey Shore was perfect.
He's right by the ocean.
80 degrees, nice breeze. Oh, my God, in a pool. On the beach.
That explains why it was cooler.
Oh, my God, it was great. I wish I was there right now. I'm kidding. There's a lot to do today, and we're getting through it. You were saying about...
Syndergaard.
Thank you. Noah Syndergaard traded to the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday. I couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. You think, division rival makes a move, gets a pitcher who's been okay this year. No, I'm happy.
I want them to rock his world if they play him. He can't duck the Mets anymore. He can't.
It's funny because me and Sean were going over it before. They play a 4-game series against them and a 3-game series. There's 7 games left.
Yeah.
Watch, he's not going to pitch one of them. I mean, it's almost impossible.
Me and Sean were also talking about it, and me and Sean were talking about the point that unless Syndergaard goes, my vagina hurts, we never know what's going to happen. So.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Syndergaard. But look at Wheeler and Syndergaard back on the same team.
Yeah, look at that. Who would have thought?
In the NL East. So I don't like that because Wheeler's great.
If Syndergaard does anything close to what Wheeler did, the transformation, I'm going to be very upset.
That would be very upsetting. But you know what? If you look at what the Mets have added to the rotation, aside from Syndergaard,
Scherzer's better than Syndergaard will ever be, ever was. So I'll take it.
Right. You got Scherzer, you've got Bassett, you've got Walker.
Carrasco's pitching well in July.
Carrasco's probably better than him too.
Now, yeah.
So it's not that terrible.
So 1 through 5, the Mets are just all better than Syndergaard. Okay, I like that.
Essentially, I think Wheeler threw a complete game today as the Phillies
good for him.
Helped us out. Maybe not. I don't know.
I root for them when they play Atlanta, obviously.
Well, yeah, Atlanta lost today after killing the Phillies last night.
That was bad.
That's big time. So the Mets have a chance to gain now a half a game to go 3.5 up.
Tomas Nieto left a small village on base just now.
There we go. Thank you, Tomas. Let's
Struck out looking on a 2-seamer from Anibal Sanchez.
Let's see. Wheeler goes 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 run, 5 hits.
Not bad.
Really nice start for him. Phillies win. Thank you, Phillies. And
what was the score?
3-1. Castellanos hit a go-ahead 2-run homer, his first homer since June.
Tell your loved ones, check on them to make sure they're okay.
Well, Vin Scully.
Oh, no! Get Castellanos out of the league,
I know, really.
What is this?
Look at Castellanos. Anyway.
Did you see that interview with him a few weeks ago? The reporter's like, do you hear the boos? And he's like, get this guy out of here.
He's like the opposite of Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
Because Gallo's like, quiet, you feel bad for him.
Gallo took it in stride and understood he was playing bad. Castellanos is playing like garbage, and he just is like, yeah, I heard the boos. Why you ask me about that? What about it?
Castellanos just tell you to shut the hell up. I mean, that's what Castellanos will do.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, though. And you actually have to have that mentality.
As a baseball player, of course, with the media in Philly.
Right, being a baseball player, being in Philly. In New York, that could actually go against you.
Yeah, that won't look good.
But in Philly, where they're ultra aggressive and they like that, it's like, okay, I kind of like you now. Like, you told me to shut the F up. Thank you. That's actually a compliment to me. These people are crazy over there. All right, anyway.
Oh, man.
Jacob deGrom back
We're
last
going to piss
night.
people off.
I know. I do like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I like the city. I like going to games.
The sports fans are something else, though.
The sports fans are very, very aggressive. And
it's them in Boston.
They're very into their teams, and I completely respect that.
Yeah.
As much as I hate the teams, I like the city. And I actually like the people. They're entertaining.
The issue I have, though, is remember when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and people were like, yeah, we won. They're like setting cars on fire and flipping people's cars in the street because they won the Super Bowl.
What did you expect?
But they won the game. Why are you flipping cars over and lighting things on fire?
Again, what did you expect from those people? They're crazy. They're crazy, crazy people. Good people, though, sometimes. When they're not
I'm sure
cursing
there's
you
good people in Philly.
When they're not cursing you out, they're good people. Anyway, enough of Philly. Let's talk about the Mets, who had Jacob deGrom come back last night. And, enough of their trade deadlines, gets and not gets. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what went right last night. And that
not
was,
much.
And that was Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom comes back, goes 5 innings, throws 59 pitches, gives up a run, 6 strikeouts. I mean, just about as dominant as deGrom looked.
But some things never change.
Right.
With the run support.
Some things never change. And
that's ridiculous.
I got this stat. Did you see the stat?
Which one?
I'm going to read it to you.
Oh, no.
Hold on a second.
Was it their record in his starts? Because that makes me sad.
Well, they're 47, 46.
Oh, that's still pathetic based on how well he's pitched.
But no, this was sent to me 4 times. I swear to God on Instagram DMs. I swear to God, 4
Yankee
times.
fans? Who sent it to you?
Just friends.
Okay. Are they Yankee fans?
I'm sure they are.
Okay.
All right, ready? This is from Barstool Sportsbook. It says maybe the most Met stat of all time. Since
I don't want to hear that.
Since 2018, Jacob deGrom has a 1.94 ERA across 92 starts, which is
that's unreal. It's historic.
Unbelievable. A better of $100 is up $2,000 if you bet against the Mets in those games. You bet against the Mets.
That's crazy. Ross is rolling in it right now.
When deGrom pitches $100, you'd be up $2,000.
Wow. So you bet $100 every time deGrom pitches for the Mets to lose.
Right.
You'd be up $2,000.
Right. And that's also...
I have a new money-making scheme.
That's also because, listen, the team that is facing deGrom is always going to be plus money. So you're always going to be making money no matter what.
That is true.
Making more money than you actually bet when you bet against the Mets.
And they like to lose with him on the mound for some reason.
But that's not the case anymore. It's funny.
Don't say that.
I said to my friend last night, I go, well, they did win some games last year with him. I'm like, he won 7 games, and we looked it up, and he went 7-2.
Yeah.
And he had a 1.0 whatever.
Yeah, that was insane last year.
ERA in the first 15 starts, and he looks at me and he goes, the fact that they even lost a game when he had a 1 point whatever ERA.
That's exactly right.
Is a crime. And I'm like, you are right. Because I remember vividly.
But the fact that he took a loss is even worse. If they lose the game, the bullpen blows it after he's out, fine.
Right.
But the fact that he has 2 losses from that ERAs.
Because
atrocious.
I remember the one, I don't know why I remember this, but it was last year. It was the 1-0 game that they lost to the Red Sox.
Yeah, oh my God.
He went in 6 innings, struck out 12 guys, gave up 1 run, Mets couldn't score a run. He lost the game.
That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. So hopefully the Mets in the rest of this season have better luck when Jacob deGrom's on the mound. And the other thing, remember when Scherzer came back from injury and he had that great start? He was efficient.
In Cincinnati,
he struck out
right?
10 guys in Cincinnati. Went 6 innings. He was great, and he wasn't even being pushed. He did it in under 90 pitches.
Yeah, he was great.
Unbelievable. If he went, he probably could have had a complete game, and he would have had the most strikeouts he's had as a Met. But it was first game back from injury.
Yeah, easing
him in. So he comes back, and the Mets lose that game. It was a late, close game, and everybody's like, oh, they waste a Scherzer start.
Yeah.
And I remember even Ross was really overreacting to it, and Met fans were really overreacting to it. And I'm like, we're only overreacting to this because it's happened so many times to deGrom.
Oh, yeah, we've seen it.
And we feel like it's going to happen to Scherzer. But in reality, it happens to every team. It just so happens that it happens more than it should with deGrom and the Mets. And it's like...
The best pitcher in baseball can't get any support, and you remember when he won his first Cy Young, the guy who announced it, I forget who it was, someone from the Baseball Writers Association said something like, receiving more support from the writers than his teammates. Jacob deGrom has won the Cy Young Award, and I was like, wow.
He won 10 games, right?
That year, I think about 10 or 11, something like that.
I want to look up his record in those Cy Young seasons.
18.
In both of them, really. I want to see what they were in both of them.
That's the other guy said the thing.
So in 18, he went 10-9. And he was obviously...
I'm just laughing. This is so insane with how good he was that year. He was better that year than the next year.
He 1.70 ERA.
Wow, and 10-9 record.
And then the next season...
How do you not win 20 games with a 1.70 ERA? And
then the next season, he had 2.43 ERA. And he went 11-8.
How is that record better?
Yeah, it's not.
I'm saying, how is that even slightly better than the 1.70 ERA season?
I know. It's kind of sad
because they can't score for the guy.
It's kind of sad. Whatever. Thank God he's back. And
he made me nervous last night. He hit 102 on the gun. Then I was thinking, easy. Like,
right? It's like this guy comes back from injury, and I read this stat, and it shouldn't be cool, and it shouldn't be funny.
The slider thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read this.
The average fastball is like 93 point something miles an hour in baseball.
And his average slider is 92.8.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Just last night in his first game back.
I do not understand why he's going that all out in his first game back in the major leagues. It wasn't high stress, probably because he was pitching so well, but I don't understand the logic.
It was a treat to watch him. How about that? It was a treat to watch that man pitch yesterday.
It was, and I hope we get to watch more of it. I want to go Sunday when he pitches against Atlanta. I want to go so bad.
The ticket price is a shot up.
Really? I'm going to look right now.
Yeah, if you look at the whole weekend, because it's a 4-game series against Atlanta, 5-game series against Atlanta, excuse me.
Yeah.
So they have tomorrow, Friday, 2-game Saturday, then Sunday. So it's 5 games.
Yes.
Even Friday's a big night. They're giving away a Scherzer t-shirt, and they're doing a blackout. The tickets are expensive.
Friday's not as expensive as Sunday.
Right, exactly. Sunday.
Friday tickets are starting in the 500s at about $20 to $23.
Right.
That's not bad. They're starting on Sunday at about $50.
Right.
That's like Keith game prices.
Yeah, it's a little less than...
Standing room only is $48.
From what I've seen, what are you on?
SeatGeek.
Wow. I even look at SeatGeek.
I know.
Yeah. From what I've seen, they're right about Keith Day prices.
I almost don't want to go now. Because they're going to lose.
I think I'm going to go.
They're going to lose.
It's good pitching matchup. Strider. So
I really don't want to go now. He's so good.
So we're not scoring any runs.
No, he's so good. He had 13 strikeouts yesterday.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday against Philadelphia. All right, so this upcoming series against Atlanta, I'm thinking let's go 3 out of 5. Let's win the
That's your prediction, 3?
Let's win the 5-game series. Let's win the 5-game series. Win today, go up 3.5 on Atlanta, and then come back home, 5 games. You're going to have Scherzer and deGrom. You're going to have Walker go. Let's win those games.
If they can be 4.5, maybe 5.5 up by the end of this series, I'm happy.
You're feeling good.
I'm feeling great. They have to win 3 for me to be satisfied.
3 is 100% a go. Like, win 3. And what
that has to happen.
So then how many games is left against them? So the Mets are 4-3 against Atlanta this year. So then they play 5, so there's 12. So there's
10 left, right?
There's 7
No,
left.
10. No, he's right, 7, yeah. Because they played 3 in Atlanta.
It's way too many games against them. I
don't trust it. It feels like a trap.
I really hate that they have to play so many games against them.
Whoever made the schedule did this right for the drama.
Right for the drama, yeah. Not good for the Met fans.
Oh, not at all. Not for our heart rate and our heart blood pressure.
There's a ton of games against them, I think, in August, too, because I remember looking at the September schedule, and outside of like a series against Atlanta, I'm like, the schedule's easy in September.
I'm looking this up right now. I got to confirm this.
Their September schedule is much easier.
We have the 5-game series against Atlanta, and that's it for the month of August.
So how many games against them?
Wait, I'm wrong. No, I'm very wrong. I was looking at the wrong week. 5-game against Atlanta. Then it gets easy with Cincinnati and Philly at Citi Field. Then they go to Atlanta.
For 3?
For 4.
Oh. Please.
Then they go to Philly. Then they go to Yankee Stadium.
And they play the Dodgers at the end of the month. August is
yeah.
We talked about going out west and June.
This is not as bad as that.
We talked about that, though. Like, this is tough, too.
I don't think it's as bad.
This is not... listen, we got our guys back, so we feel better.
That's true. It's a different team now.
And I guess you're right. You do feel better. You get the Reds mixed in there. You get the Phillies a couple of times.
The Rockies, too, in the end of the month for the Dodgers at home.
So you feel good about that. Just got to beat Atlanta. Please just beat Atlanta.
They play Atlanta in Atlanta for the second to last series of the year.
And that could be for the division.
And the final series of the year is at Citi Field against the Nationals.
Yes. So that should be a sweep.
Anyway. It better be. I was looking at the Nationals starting lineup today. It looks like the 7th inning of a spring training game.
Well,
I don't know who anybody is except for Yadiel Hernandez and Keeper Ruiz. I don't know who anybody is.
Kicked our ass last night.
That's true.
Hopefully they get this win here.
Who's that first baseman that never got a home run in his life and he came up at like 30 years old as a rookie and he homered against the bullpen? Who was that?
I don't know. Menace, whatever.
Some weird.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I was so upset by that. Hernandez is hot and he always kills them. That's fine. Whatever. But that guy's never had a home run in his life, and he decides to do it last night.
That Garcia kid, too. I think I'm saying his name right. Is that who it was? He hit the shot.
Oh, he was the one. Was he the one that hit the back-to-back with Hernandez off the bullpen?
Yes, it was the first guy.
Okay, yeah.
He usually plays the Mets well, too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, want to talk some football?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk some football for the
Hall of Fame games tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow would be Thursday. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So we've got the Hall of Fame game tomorrow.
We're starting finally.
We've had camps going.
Why is the door bunting? Sorry.
We've had camps going. The Jets and the Giants. Let's start with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say this. I keep seeing videos now of Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be like the Jets' real, like, first in a very long time, possibly ever, like, big time, like, quarterback to receiver connection.
Really?
Like, I think Elijah Moore is going to be like a serious, like,
I think he's going to be awesome this year in particular.
I think he's going to be a seriously awesome football player. Like, great
They got
star
Garrett
receiver.
Wilson too now.
They got
a good receiving core over there in New York.
We got a call, and then I do want to talk about the Jets' skill positions. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. My name is Dean. I'm calling from Seaford. How you guys doing today?
What's going on?
Oh, the same old. I just driving home, put you guys on.
Thank you very much.
Kind of a regular listener. First thing I just wanted to clear up, you're probably going to laugh, but being a Cincinnati fan, I've heard 3 times already, and I like the Mets. I grew up as a kid, Met fan, but saw the Reds back in 1970, and I was hooked when I saw Pete Rose. So it is what it is. But one of you guys keeps saying, "Well, the Mets, they're playing the Reds. They're playing the Reds." Reds are one of the hotter teams right now. Even dumping guys, they're actually winning, and I don't understand that.
Really?
I mean, they've been pitching. The starting pitch has been really good lately. That's now, minus Castillo and Malley, but the kids are looking pretty good. So I hope the Mets win because I really want them to do well, and I can't stand the Yankees. But don't count the Reds out. I mean, as maybe stealing a game or two. Look what they did to the Yankees.
Yes.
But, now I heard you talking about the Jets. I'm scared. Wilson. That's the only thing. We have some talent. We have some running backs. We have, receivers. This guy has to be consistent. He's got to be able to hit those 5-yard throws when no one's around. You saw how inaccurate he was. I'm kind of afraid.
There's no excuses for Zach Wilson this year. They put everything around him. This is his year to really show what he's got, or he may not be the guy.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I mean, you can't give him an excuse because he's only played the 1 year. They usually say the third. But like you said, if he even improves minimally, we're in trouble. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the Jets are going to the Super Bowl this year. Don't get me wrong. But they should be very much improved. The defense is going to be a beast. Don't forget, we got Carl Lawson back, and he was destroying people in practice last year. So he's back. Hopefully the kid on the line that they lucked into getting, because I thought we had a great draft. So I'm hoping. But again, Zach, I don't know. I mean, and who else do we have? You're going to put in, what's his name, Flacco?
Yeah, Mike White back there.
I'll give him credit. I mean, for a guy that really never played, he does have the poise. And I'm telling you, he probably would do pretty decent, okay? But, that would be 2 drafts, not in a row, but you'll know what I'm going, where you pick Donald and then Wilson. You can't miss on stuff like that. That is not good. And I really don't know. What do you do? You're not going to go out and get a Jimmy G. You're not going to, so that could really damage, the Jets. And I'm looking forward to a decent year. But I'm nervous. What do you think? You guys, you feel the same way?
We appreciate the call. The Jets are a very young team. They have a young coach, young offensive coordinator.
Obviously, young quarterback.
Young quarterback, obviously. Pete
home run.
There we go. Listen, I think Jet fans are going to be disappointed because I don't think their record is going to be what they want it to be.
Okay.
But
what do you think they're expecting? Like 10-7?
I think Jet fans are really getting crazy to the point where I think they could be like 9-8, 10-7, and I don't think they're going to be.
I could see if everything breaks right. 9-8 could happen, maybe.
I don't think they're going to be close there. I just don't. And the reason is their schedule.
What's their ceiling for wins for you think?
Like 7. I think the most.
Okay.
I would be shocked if they won 8 games.
I was going to predict about 7 as an honest prediction for the Jets.
And this is not me being a hater. This is me saying, young team, young quarterback, really good AFC, really tough schedule. I don't think they're going to win a ton of games. But here's where we can counter this. You're going to be able to tell whether or not the Jets have improved. You're not going to be able to just tell by their wins. You're going to be able to tell by the way they play if they're close against these tough teams. So if they can be relevant, if they can play good in tough games, you're going to see an improvement, and you're going to see it with numbers. You're going to see it with Zach Wilson. You're going to see it with their skill guys. We were talking before we took the call. They have a legit skill group.
Oh, yeah.
3 tight ends.
Their backfield's amazing.
3 tight ends that can catch the ball and block. They have 2 running backs that I'm really high on.
Yes.
Younger guys. They have now a wide receiver in Elijah Moore, who I think a lot of people believe is going to be a stud. They have Garrett Wilson, who was drafted in the first round, who should be very good. Mm-hmm. I'm blanking on another guy.
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is coming back from injury, and with a lesser role now, with Moore stepping up, and
he'll be
Wilson,
the 3. That's awesome for him.
He should be the 3. The Jets' offense should improve. The Jet defense should improve. Their offensive line's better. But if they don't win 8, 9, 10 games, but they're improving without winning the games, that's okay too.
It's about the talent developing. It's not about the record this year, I think.
Exactly.
They're not going to contend for anything. Everyone knows that.
Exactly.
Unless a miracle happens.
And I think Jet fans are getting crazy and thinking that that's what's going to happen. And also, I don't want to sound like one of those Giant fans, but
where are you on the Giants?
The Giants have an easy schedule. Mm-hmm. So I think the Giants can luck themselves into 8 or 9 wins. I think that's possible. Whether Daniel Jones is starting, whether Tyrod Taylor is starting, I think they could luck themselves into that one.
Maybe.
I would say about 8 wins for the Giants is where I'm at. And again, they're in a lesser division. They're in a lesser conference.
Of course.
They're playing, the AFC South this year.
Oh, wow.
They're playing the Seahawks this year. They're playing the Lions this year.
All right.
They're playing the Bears again this year.
Oh, no.
So
that's the easy schedule's right.
That's why I think the Jets, if they play the Giants this year, the Jets would win.
Okay.
But the Giants' record may be better. And
I think the Jets have obviously way more talent on the team. But the Giants have the easier schedule.
I wouldn't say way more talent, but more talent, yes. I think the
offense is way better.
I think their offensive line is probably better. I think that the weapons on the outside might be close to the Giants, because I wrote down here, Galladay's having a good camp, Wan'Dale Robinson, the rookie, is excelling, and
where's Kadarius Toney?
Kadarius Toney looks unbelievable.
Okay, good.
And they're using Toney in very different situations as a wildcat. They asked him the other day, Dayball asked him, he's like, I want to use you, as a wildcat,
like a Tyreek Hill, right?
Like a Tyreek Hill, like a Deebo Samuel, and he was like, yes.
That's good. That's good.
That's what I was reading from Dan Duggan on the Athletic the other day, and I loved that. You're going to see a new Giants team. You're going to see an actual modern offense, and not just drop back, run the ball, power, drop back, slant. Like you're not going to see that stuff. You're going to see creativity in this offense.
Let me say one quick thing about the Giants before we have to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is real or not. I was from a verified Twitter account. I've never heard of the guy though. Someone tweeted Daniel Jones hit like a straight path, hit like a disabled fan in practice.
That was fake.
That's fake. Did you see the comment on him where someone goes, Kenny Galladay has feelings?
That's funny. No, that was fake. Jones was struggling first part of camp, but he's turned it back up, apparently. That's what I've been reading as well.
I hope he's the guy. You do.
Dom had said he was going to Jet Camp. He was there last week, going this week. I might have to find myself to
all right.
the Meadowlands and Quest Diagnostics Center, right by the FanDuel Sportsbook. So I'll go have a good time. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you for listening. For Matt Leonard, I am Michael Merlo here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Have a great rest of the night, everybody.